At the risk of exposing how little I know about plumbing and heating, I would like to talk about my furnace. You see, last fall I woke one chilly morning to a temperature of 12 degrees Celsius. From my initial scan of my freezing feet, I knew immediately that something was very wrong with the furnace. I could hear it running, but there wasn't a lick of heat coming from the registers. I retreated to the basement and did what has typically worked for me in the past when my appliances proved uncooperative. I kicked it. Nothing changed. I then flicked the switch on and off, which produced some heat, but only for about 2 hours. I vacuumed out what I could, but when I checked each of these interventions, nothing seemed to be making enough of a difference. I finally confronted my lack of knowledge as a heating technician and got some expert advice from both my dad as well as Google. Armed with this new information, I checked to see if the thermos was the issue. When that was ruled out, I did what Home Depot suggested and changed the filter. Still, nothing. In the end, I took the advice of consumerreports.org and looked to see if the furnace was older than the prescribed expiry date of 20 years. Lo and behold, the thing was installed in 1992. So I honed my intervention, purchased a new gas furnace, and this has been keeping me efficiently warm ever since. So why am I telling you about my furnace when I'm supposed to be talking about spirals of inquiry? Simply put, it is because the way I went about fixing this very real problem follows a spiral of inquiry. I scanned the evidence coming from the furnace to help me focus on what the problem might be. I came up with a number of hunches on how to get the darn thing running again, and took action with a number of interventions. When I checked to see if enough of a difference was being made and discovered an intervention had failed, I spoke with experts, filled in some of my gaps in my learning before building another hunch and taking action again. Spirals are a completely natural structure that all of us use daily to solve complex issues, like finding out why the car won't start, or where the air mattress is leaking from, or what is causing that mysterious rash on my belly. I would argue that the work we're doing in our schools to improve equity and excellence for all of our students is also very complex, and it too requires a thoughtful structural approach to getting at student improvement. When we take the time to really scan our students quantitatively through test scores or course marks, as well as qualitatively to find out what is really going on for them as learners, we can begin to focus in more clearly on where improvement can be targeted. This means taking a risk and getting up close and personal with our kids. It means being brave enough to listen to their perceptions of their own learning. When we do this, we ensure we are looking after the real needs of our students, as opposed to an educated guess on our part. The spiral structure also includes the pursuit of new learning in order to get at new practice. Without this learning, we are likely to continue to kick away at the same issues, be they student disengagement, poor academic performance, or chronic non-attendance, in the same way simply because we aren't aware there may be a new or better approach. With the spiral structure, moving our hunches or strategies into action is something that can be done confidently because we know beforehand what specific learner needs we're trying to address. And more importantly, checking those hunches comes directly back to that earlier scan. The data we gathered initially becomes our baseline, and by re-scanning our students using the same measures, we can accurately see whether we've made enough of a difference. So, if spirals of inquiry provide a natural structure to help us more clearly define our students' needs, and if spirals emphasize new learning to get at innovative change in practice, and if spirals insist we check to see if our hunches have made enough of a difference, Why are we not all using this structure to guide our school plans? And if we're not using this structure to guide us through our complex work, are we confident the structures we are using are leading us to excellence and equity for all of our students?